Starting as close to on time as possible so I can finish on time. However, Q&A can generally go to the last person drops or till I actually have to go to the bathroom. So stay till the end and your questions will be answered. If you've got something urgent, you can pop it in the chat. And if Hunter sees, and it's super important, he's just going to jump in and butt in and let me, if you see a name and a face there, Hunter Brosman, he is my right-hand man, my business partner. And because he has the last name, there's no secret that he is my son. I'm super, super proud of all the work that he's doing for me. I could not run these anymore without him. But enough of that. The title of today, and we are talking about podcasting, podguesting, is how to attract more clients, make faster sales with less stress. And that's really what we're going to be going through. And I'm guessing that would be a pretty cool priority for most of you. More clients, faster sales, less stress. Cool. So why are you here? And I've just sort of hinted, more clients, easier sale. However, consistency. And a lot of people will have some ebbs and flows, but when you can get this system going and get out there and get on regular podcasts and do what I'm going to teach you today, you will have consistency of leads and you will have consistency of clients. A system and more control. Now, that's a word that we quite often don't know too much about or hear too much about, except unless we've got a machine running everything for us. More control in the number of people that we have. So grab a sheet of paper if you haven't got your thing, and at the top of it, put where you believe you are at now with your capacity. And if you've got the worksheet, it's already down there for you. Where are you at with your capacity? Are you 30%, 40%, 50%? You're half full. And where do you want to get to? Now, my maximum capacity is 80%. I only ever really want to be 80% full. And what do I got to do to get to the capacity? Now, what's that gap? That is the gap that we are looking to fill today, to give you the tools, the templates, the scripts, and the strategies to be able to fill that gap today. So write that down somewhere. We're going to keep referring back to that. So there are three ways people work. And unfortunately, many people work by guesswork. I'm going to have a go at this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. And it's like, you're just guessing all the time. What should I do? Oh, I've read something over here. I should do that. You're not really sure whether it's going to work or whether it does work. So you're having a guess at it. That often leads to hard work. And many of you, you're investing some time now. And that's time that you could be doing other things. But quite often, a lot of you are working hard. Generally, the first one leads to the second one. A lot of guesswork means that you're working extremely hard. And the last one, there are people who work to an existing framework, a proven framework, and that saves a lot of these, saves a lot of guesswork, and actually generates a lot more cash. Out of these numbers, 1, 2, or 3, just type in which number you would like to work to. Just type in a 1, 2, or 3, which one you'd like to work to and you believe would be the best for you. And I know we've got a lot of number 3s. Okay, we've got the blueprint in the chat. It's all there. Fantastic. Yeah, a lot of 3s. Nobody wants to work guesswork. Now, there are 3, and this is why I've put all of this into your training today. There are 3 essential ingredients to grow your business. I've broken it down. It really just makes sense that we work on these 3. Stand out above your competition. That's it. Yeah. Put a C in the chat if you actually have competition in your market. Is there competition out there? And yeah, We need to stand out and stand above your competition. The next thing is get in front of more of your ideal market. And that's a big thing. I'm going to cover that a little bit later. Your ideal market. How do you get in front of more of them and sell more easily? And yes, we are going to cover a part of sales, how to make selling more easily. Because generally what happens, here's your client journey. Ideally, you stand out and attract the right people. However, a lot of people look, sound the same as everybody else. So you're not standing out very much at all. In fact, not that many people spend the time on this first part here. This here, done properly, will make you a lot of money for very little cost. Okay. Then there is getting in front of the right people. Here's your market. And a lot of the efforts these days are getting in front of people that are not your market. If you're spending a lot of time on social media, how the heck do you get in front of the right people? So, and people spend a lot of time, effort, and money marketing and not getting in front of the right people. And a lot of people either hate sales, are not good at sales, just avoid it. So if you could actually increase all three, which is our goal today, then that will grow your business. If you start missing one of these pieces, if you spend the time, effort, money marketing, and you're getting good at sales, but you don't stand out and you're the same as everybody else, you're probably going to compete on price. If you do the work in positioning yourself, but you're not getting in front of the right people, you're not going to get the right clients. And if you do all of this work and you don't spend any time and effort on getting the right sales process in order, then you're not going to convert them into clients. That's why these three are essentials. How a lot of this came about, and a number of the Aussies here will know that in January 21, during COVID, in December, January, February, generally most of the business people go on hibernation. Nothing's going on. Add COVID to that, COVID and Christmas, it was devastating. Okay, I looked at my business and it was like, well, unless I do something about it, it's not going to survive. It's definitely not going to grow. How many of you have been in a situation, or you may be in that situation right now? You know, it's like you're looking at your businesses. I have to do something. I've got to do something today. And I thought, well, that's it. I am moving virtually to America. I was fortunate enough, somebody said, hey, listen, there's this networking type event that I go to. I think it would be good for you. You should go. To do that first, I looked at how do I position and package myself to take myself over there. A lot of people were struggling on going online, selling online. Well, I could sell. I coach selling. And I've got a TV video background. I could do it online. I can coach people how to get in front of the camera and to do all that. So I actually wrote the Back Pocket Guide, the art and science of virtual selling. So I went over there with a solution and a unique positioning. So that was the first thing. And that was that first part of the equation. How can you stand out and be different? So I built that first and then took that over there and I started getting in front of my ideal people. From that one introduction and being introduced to podcasts, it went from 0 to 6 figures in just 10 months. In COVID, from a standing start. And let me tell you, in those first few months, I made a hell of a lot of mistakes on podguesting. However, those mistakes now have created a system that has been working nonstop year after year, generating 6 figures. So from those mistakes, I've built all this for you so you don't have to. Built the framework so you don't have to do the guesswork and the hard work. So here's the first thing that we're going to look at now. If you were to introduce yourself to the person in the square next to you, you can virtually shake hands. Hey, my name is, and I do this. you may want to write that down and just say, well, or in your head, how do you virtually or physically introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? So that's the first thing that you're going to write in there. While you're doing that, I'm going to skip to the next bit. I'm going to go through with you and calculate potentially what it means to you. And I'm going to start with somebody who is earning 10K a month. Now, that may be a little more than what you're doing. It may be a little less, maybe significantly less. And the reason I picked it, it's easy numbers for me to use. But it's easy for you to say, well, okay, I'm a little higher and a little lower. So as a starting point, we're picking 10,000 per month. So I've also picked that I'm at 50% capacity. I want to get to 80%. And then I'm writing down, I do this, or however you introduce yourself. Okay. So just remember where you're at that now. So what we're going to do today in the next hour and a quarter is we're going to go through this blueprint. I've pulled apart everything that I've done. I've pulled apart all the things that are working for my clients and students. And here is the system that is working today, even as of yesterday. People are coming back saying this is working. We're going through that first bit, how to position you and how to stand out above the crowd and be the prize. Be the prize, not the pursuer. In a Podguest situation, we also say be the prize, not the professor. Okay, that's the thing here. Be the prize, not the professor. The next thing is going to be the work on podcasting and podguesting. Where and how do we get in front of other people's and our clear target market? Okay, we've got a heap jumping in at the door right now. And then the last thing is, how do we convert them into clients? How do we convert them from being somebody that's listening to us, some floating around us, to becoming a client? I'm going to share with you a strategy and a framework that is working very effective right now. So that's the three parts that we're going to go through today. So let's roll up our sleeves and get into it. Now, if you wrote and introduce yourself as I am a coach, I am a consultant, I am a whatever, you're a brown box. You're the same as everybody else who is the same A. So people say, I am ABC qualified coach. Well, you're exactly the same as everybody else has got that qualification. That's competition. You're not standing out. You are a brown box. It's not, you're sitting on the shelf, the same as everybody else. It's not until they unwrap the box that they see gold inside. Okay. So the best thing is that we're going to go through is, how do we get you to stand out in the marketplace? And the best thing is to be a the. When you move from an A to a the, your positioning changes. When you move from an A to a the, your income changes. Your positioning changes. The creator of, the author of, the something. And when you go through the stages, you've got your generalist, you've got your specialist, you've got your authority. And even the one step above an authority, people author things, but when you are a creator, you're just that one step above an authority. An authority knows something and they probably published something. A creator has created something for other people to use. So when we work with our people, and at the end, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to share with you the way I teach is I'm going to give you some information, share how other people have used it so you can see, yeah, I could do that. Here's how I could do it. And at the end, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can do the same as they have done to be able to implement exactly what you're learning today. So the big thing in here is, if you want to write something down, write this down. Your perceived position predicts your profits. Your perceived positioning predicts your profit. It determines the type of people that are coming to talk to you, what they think about you before they talk to you. Your perceived position predicts your profits. In fact, how many people here, you can wave at me, I can see a few faces, know Brendan Bouchard, a fairly world leader coach. He said not that long ago, yeah, we've got a few here waving, yep, but not that long ago, if you are not earning what you believe you should, it's your positioning. Now, remember that first bit of the flow, standing out and being positioned. That's how important it is. And most people don't spend any time on it. So here's a few people that we've taken from brown boxes. And I know some of you are here because of this next guy. Alan is actually coming back and doing another one of my programs right now. And we've been working on and off together for 5, 6, maybe even 10 years. So Alan is a face profiler, which not that many people really know what it is, what it does, but he's the creator of the Advanced Communication and Profiling System, and he has his blueprint. And once he started repositioning himself, he's been on countless TV shows, and he was even flown to London to be the guest speaker at the premiere of the Rogue One Star Wars movie. They threw him on the pointy end of the plane and flew him over there because he was a leader, an authority, and a creator of something. Okay, so they're the things that definitely can happen. Now, quick question here. This next person, a business consultant. Is that a brown box or is it a blue box? Is it an A or is it a V? If you want to type in A or V, you can type it in. It's a brown box. You can't get much more brown box. And I know there's going to be people here that are in the professional consulting industry, and I picked this one just for you. Now, there are a lot of fractionals out there. And fractionals are now becoming very, very brown box. So she was a fractional. She called herself a business consultant and she worked as a fractional CEO. 2 brown boxes. But we turned her into the back pocket CEO. Different, positioned herself differently. She was in a compilation book that we put together. And within 2 years, she was named in the top 20 innovative consultants globally. Now, was it because she had better qualifications, she was better at what she did, or she stood out and attracted attention? That's the power of what this can do for you. Here's a picture of her. It must have been something about London. Her in London picking up her award. And I always joke about her. We could take her out of the brown box, but we couldn't take her out of the brown dress. But anyhow, but that was the difference, is instead of being an A, she became a V. And the last one of these is she was a virtual assistant, and she called herself a virtual assistant, and she was struggling to compete on price. However, when we looked at who she was and what she did, she actually worked with businesses, uncovered their systems, and helped them implement the systems as a virtual assistant. But we repackaged her as a business growth systems specialist. She specialized in helping people implement business systems. What that did for her was amazing. We created a blueprint, reorganized her positioning. She had more clarity. Now, if you want to write something down, write this down, tattoo it on the back of your hand. Clarity equals cash. When your audience knows who you are and why you are different. Now, if you get on a podcast and you get on and you say, hey, I'm a business coach, blah, 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 or I'm a business consultant, you're not going to get people running to you, and you are not going to get referrals, because everybody knows, hey, I've hurt my back. Oh, you go and see this. They're a good physio. No, people we work with, they've got the certain program, you say, you need to talk to this person because they got the XYZ. They're the creator of the 3-dimensional back care program. Wow. Okay. You get more referrals. So you have more clarity. You have more confidence about saying who you are and what you do. You have better energy and you get more clients. So when you implement this part of the trifecta, it makes a massive, massive difference. And these people have made a huge difference. So you get increased clarity, increased quality of clients, increased number of clients, and increased referrals. Is that worth spending some time, some quality time, repackaging, repositioning in a way that you can communicate who you are better? And most importantly, and this is what we do with the people that we work with, we help them craft how other people talk about you. We help you create your bankable story. So other people say, oh, you got to talk to Brendan. You got to talk to Cool. You got to talk to Duck Olin because they are the. And when that happens and people are talking about you a different way, your business goes through the roof. Is that making sense? Yeah. Yeah. Can you see it making a difference in your business if you repositioned and repackaged and stood out? Certainly. So those people have made some enormous changes in their business. And normally it can change your business anything from 20 to 50, if not 100%. So pull out your worksheet again. Here's your worksheet. Grab your worksheet on the first line, or if you just want to draw some lines on a sheet, just have a couple of columns. And we're talking about positioning, your authority positioning, okay? Your implementation of what you just learned. Today is not, look, if all you wanted to do today is sit back, listen to me, and then go away, you might as well go away now. Well, you will pick up some stuff. I'm sorry. Yes, you will pick up some good stuff. But today is for you to work and get some great implementable information. So let's just take the average. In fact, it's the bottom average, 30% on top of your $10,000 that you're earning right now. That's by repositioning, getting better referrals, better clients, more of them. That alone is actually going to drive up an extra $3,000 per month. On an annual basis, that's $36,000. I've seen people change their absolute business by just repositioning themselves and jumping up. And it virtually costs nothing to do to get all that done. So do your calculations, whatever they are for you, whether you're earning $5,000 a month or $50,000 a month, do that calculation, because if you're standing out and getting good quality people, this is awesome, enormous for you. Okay, so you've also moved from I am the and I deliver. Now this AIV, we're going to get into a little bit later. You don't deliver your services. We're going to repackage and reframe your language into it's the agreed, implementable value. You're going to hear that a lot in the last bit when we're talking about selling, and also how you talk on a webinar, on a podcast. So when you have the, you've moved from a 3 out of 10, if you're an A, to an 8 out of 10. Normally, the handout should be downloadable, Barnsley. It should be somewhere at the top. Hunter, if you could just do that again for me, bud, just to make sure it's there. I know it is. I saw it earlier. But if not, just draw some sheets. So we've roughly systemized and calculated for every percent, every 1 out of 10 that you go up in your uniqueness score, you go up 10% in your income. That's the pure facts. If you jump. So if you go from an Deb set brown box to thank you, it's in there. You will jump a massive amount into your income. Okay, let's keep moving, rocking along. So that's the positioning. Just write the whole word in: position, position, position. If you believe working on your position is going to make a difference to your business, okay, and it's worth working on. So we've done creating you as the prize, attracting people running to you. The next is getting in front of more of your ideal clients. Is that worthwhile? You're keen to hear more about that? I've got a few nod. I can see the top of heads. I love it. I love it when I see a lot of the tops of heads, because I know that you're working and writing. As much as I'd love to see your smiling faces all the time, I'm happy to see the tops of your heads. But when you're nodding vigorously, that's even better. Okay, how do we connect with more of our ideal people? Let me take you through a journey. The rise and the fall, the rise of podcasting and the fall of social media. Podcasts and listeners are increasing rapidly. The reach and effectiveness of most posts is shrinking. Anybody here are frustrated, dead set frustrated with nobody seeing your posts? And the ones that do see it are not the people you want to talk to. It's just a nightmare. I hear it all the time. You have 30 minutes to create a relationship with the audience, at least 30 minutes podcasting. You've got seconds to grab their attention. You can target your exact audience by picking the right podcast to get on. You got no damn control in social media. You are introduced as a trusted authority. You fight to get attention on social media. You just generally pop up as an interruption on their day on social media. Audiences show up to listen to you. I got to get that one right. Audiences show up to listen to you, and they show up because of the host. They say, hey, we have this person. The host asks you to share your expertise and how people can work with you. And generally, social media, you just have to start talking about yourself. Where else on the planet can you get in front of your ideal audience, have 30 minutes, create a relationship with them in a way that they have to do business with you? Where else on the planet can you do that? I do not know of any social media that's out there that even comes close to putting any sort of effort into being a good quality and profitable podcast guest. Now, for those of you who think, I'm going to be a podcast guest, so I'm going to flick the switch and I'm going to make money, go away now. It does require a bit of work, but the return on effort, 10, 20, 30, 40 times of the crap that's going on in social media right now. If you think I'm a little passionate about this, I am, because this is power. If you want quality people, have a look at this. Buzzsprout, one of the biggest platforms podcasting in the country. 80% of listeners listen to all or most of every podcast that they start. Over 60% have a college degree, bachelor's or higher. This is American statistic, but very similar to elsewhere. And most hold an annual income of above 75,000. In Australia, that's 100K. 43% of men, 48% of women listen to podcasts, and the monthly podcast listening is growing hugely above 55. Type in me if those statistics excite you and if you are marketing to those people and you would like to know how to market to those people and have them as raving fans for you. I would love a fishing pond that's full of those people. You know, where do you want to go? They say, where do you put a restaurant if you want to be successful? Where there are hungry people. Where do you want to go fishing? Where the right fish are there and they're already fed the burley, the pre-taste bait, so that they're hungry. And this is what the right tactics does. Let me share with you a mistake that was nearly fatal. In the early days, I had a great person who was, he just loved what I did, and he was referring me onto lots of different podcasts. And I was in the early stages referred onto this one. And if you're anything to do with marketing, sales, etc., these are the dead set gods of marketing. Dan Kennedy, we've got Seth Godin, the author of The Purple Cow, Jay Abraham, the billion-dollar business coach, Rich Schefren, the godfather and the grandfather of digital marketing, Robert Cialdini, Mr. Influence himself, and this dude in the middle. I was absolutely crapping myself. Has anybody here ever felt as if, do I belong? Do I deserve to be there? That feeling of, am I good enough? And guess what? It was going through my veins. It was like, oh my God, do I really deserve to be here? What the heck? And I almost made a fatal blow. But the good thing was, from this near mistake, I created a framework that is a multi-six-figure framework. The host said, hey, Steve, you've been referred on. I got to tell you, we're not recording for another 2 to 3 months. We're booked up solid. So if you're accepted, you're going to have to wait. I said, fine. He said, what do you do? And then I did the typical, well, I work with these people and I do this. I didn't go down the route of saying I'm passionate about, but I work with these people and I help them with this. And he stuck a knife straight in my heart. He said, oh, you're just a sales coach. And I thought, how the hell do I get out of this? And I said, well, I work with them and I actually help them break out of the brown box syndrome. I said, oh, Steve, what's that? And then I help them with the emotive sales pendulum. Well, what's that? And every time I went through this little process I was going through, he leaned closer to the microphone. And by the time I got to something I'm about to share with you today, the DNQC sales framework, he said, it does this and it eliminates objections. And within 10 minutes, he said, so do you have any time in the next 2 weeks? And I thought, well, mate, bring time. And I said, yeah. So it went from being a brown box. I got on there and said, hey, I do this, I help this. And for those of you who come to join in the training after this, you will hear one thing that is banned from your language and conversation. And you will hear it in multiple networking events. I am passionate about and I help people do this. When you come to work with me, that's banned. And we'll explain in the training why, but it's basically give me the soapbox, let me stand on it, and I want to preach. And that's all I'm interested in doing. But when we built this pre-chat framework, we actually spend 2 weeks in the training on the pre-chat call, how to have a call with somebody to excite them about having you on so they do more promotion and they got more energy. And how can you excite them to do more than just host a podcast, collaborations, partnerships? How can you have that call that is the catalyst for business growth, not just to get you on a podcast? So when you learn that pre-chat framework, it makes a huge, huge difference. In fact, this is from one of the girls in the last intake. And she was talking to somebody even as a host. So if you're a host, this works for you as well. So Steve, this partnering opportunity works. I did my intro call as you taught. She took my quiz because she wanted to know more. That's what you want. You want them to get excited about knowing more about what you do. Tell me more about what you do. Wow, I think we can work together. Before she could even invite her as a guest, she wanted to talk about partnering with her. And they've created a joint product and are promoting it on the podcast episode. Would that be of value to have your ideal host as your ideal partner and get in front of your ideal audience? Is that a match made in heaven? Yeah, you bet. So when I break down and we add up, I've been telling people I've been earning 6 figures from podcasting. for the last 4 years. And when I break it down and you look at it and say, well, that's not impressive, Steve. I can do that. So when you know the system, you can do it. And a lot of my people are actually doing exactly this. So where most people go wrong, I'm going to give you a little bit of out-of-the-box training right now. And most people go wrong because they are the professor. They want to get on and they want to share their knowledge, and they believe that if I tell them enough information about me, at the end, they'll go and download something. How many of you have been taught? Share your story. It's all about you and your story. Share your expertise and give them a link to go to somewhere. If you do that, we've got a couple of yeses coming through. If you do that, you might as well add the next 3. You get on your knees, you put your hands together, and you look skyward. Because if you do the first 3, you might as well do the last 3, because it's not going to happen. We've got some more people coming through this. Good. It's all about the energy. There are 3 relationships. I'm going to do this. I wasn't going to. Guest, audience. There's 3 relationships, and it's all about the energy. Very quickly. When you do the pre-chat right, the relationship and the energy between you and the host is absolutely through the roof. Absolutely through the roof. Most people will just focus on that. I just need to be a good interviewee, answer the questions, and my job is done. No. You need to nurture the relationship with the audience. And there are ways to do it. I'm looking at some names. I've got Brendan still on the screen here. So Brendan's my host, and I can turn to Brendan and say, hey, Brendan, this is just for your people. So if you're watching this at home, get your pens ready. This is just for you. So what I've done, I've turned to the audience virtually. I've wrapped my arm around them, and I've given them a dose of oxytocin, the belonging drug. It's like, wow, this is for me. And they start paying attention. And they're really getting that feel-good drug by being a part of the conversation. The other one that most people don't think about is the relationship between the host and the audience. Now, the audience is there because of the host, and they're there to listen to you as well. So when you can elevate and edify the host in front of their audience, so cool, you'd know from all the fantastic work that you do in this area, and here is my answer. So I've just put the host on a pedestal. I've just elevated and edified him in front of the audience. He's got that surge of dopamine. Wow, I feel good. I feel proud. And the audience is saying, wow, our host is somebody special. So and there's so much more to it. That's a taste. When you start building the energy through that, and they have a taste and they have a relationship and they have an addiction to you in a good way, you're the person that's giving them the happy hormones, and I want to spend more time with that person. They're running towards the end to get what it is that you have ready for them. And we even have a script on how you introduce and never call it a free gift. You never have a free gift. It might be a free gift, but you never call it a free gift. Free gift is the throwaway piece of crap to get their email address so you can spam the hell out of them. True or true? Yeah. So there's ways that we help you package the way that they not only slide out of the conversation, but run towards you. So here's how you can make money. And I've got to get through this pretty quickly, but please, pay attention, make plenty of notes. Purchase. They're 4 Ps. Well, there's 4.5 Ps. Purchase. Most will say, I'm going to get on, give some good information, and I'm going to send them somewhere. Lead magnets, funnels, calls. Type a Y in if you believe that is the typical way that most people would make their most money through a podcast. Just type a Y, that'll be fine. Yeah. The start of all of this was a client on my other coaching program, and she said, Steve, I have been paying to get on 2 to 3 podcasts per week, and in 3 months, I haven't generated a client. I listened, looked at what they were doing, and it was like 2 people with their back turned to the audience, geeking out on some really cool stuff. Have you ever been on a podcast where you just hear 2 people talking to each other? No. When we work together, we will get you to drag the audience in and be a real part of it and think, I don't want this to end. But that we turned it around within 2 weeks. She sold $2,500 clients in the following 2 podcasts, going from none in 36 podcasts to 2 quality clients in the next 2 by just turning it around. Okay. So that P, you put in P1, just write P1 if you want to learn how to do that P1. The second one is just referrals, pass on. Referrals didn't start with a P, so I couldn't use it. So pass on. Referrals from the host and from the audience. And when you are the host and the audience can refer you much easier. When they have clarity about your uniqueness and your creator status, it's easy. Oh, I heard this person, they have this, they have the. You got to go and talk to them, not, hey, they are a good. Okay. You never, ever, ever, ever want to be called a good anything. Okay. You're competing. Now, here's the next 2. Here's where they really are. Partner. And you'll see a lot of the people now that I'm going to be talking about shortly are partnering with people to deliver great products. They're partnering. I've got, let me count, 5 partnerships going now. Speaker coaches, book coaches, and program coaches. And they've included this program in their program because if, hey, I want to get a speaker out there, I want to get them onto podcasts and I want them to make money. So when we partner together, how can my program make them look the hero? And so the people I partner with, we work together and we create partnerships and it's basically income ticking along. And promote joint ventures, affiliates, and that PR there is the other P, is public relations. You can get invited by being on podcasts. I've been invited into, I think in a 4-week period, I'm speaking on 6, a lot of them pre-recorded, 6 summits and events over the last and the next 4 weeks. One in a couple of weeks' time, I'm speaking right alongside John Assaraf, and to the level of that, mainly because people have seen on podcasts, they see what you're capable of. Hey, would you like to speak on our summit? You speak on the summit, you make money. It's as simple as that. So here's some very simple results of putting the 4 Ps. Type in a 4 if you want to use all 4 Ps to grow your business, because when you use all 4, it's going to explode. If you just use 1, that's okay. But if all you want to do is rely on, I'm going to give a good talk, I'm going to give a good link and get on my knees and pray, good luck. Do that. So this was February. I had a pre-chat, did the pre-chat as I teach. We got together and we created a 90-minute workshop before the podcast was done, and a small group, 20 odd people, and I actually netted $14,000 just from working with the host and exciting them, say, hey, listen, we should do something. We co-created a product with the speaker program, and through her sales, that's generating $2,000 to $4,000 per month just on her sales of that joint product. And from the actual interview and the podcast itself, 2 really good clients came on board and they were $5,000 each. So just one podcast, when you implement all 4 in front of the right audience with an excited host, put those 2 together, the right audience and an excited host can make a massive difference. Now, it's not just me doing it. One of the girls, and hers was February as well, she was a student, she booked a webinar with the host, and she made $12,000 before it was even recorded. Wave your hands if you'd like to earn money before your podcast is recorded. It's not a bad thing, is it, to be able to do that? So a lot of you say, well, I haven't done this, I haven't done collaborations, I haven't done this. That's okay. I opened my first business. It was a health club in 1984. I opened the doors with referrals, retentions, and collaborations. I was collaborating with other people who had my people. I was doing joint ventures with the hairdressers. I was doing joint ventures with other people. So I've been doing joint ventures for 40 years. So as you come along to this, you're going to not only get how to position yourself, how to get on the right podcast, how to be the right person on the podcast, but also how to do these collaborations. And another thing, but how do I get on the big stages? You don't have to. I want to hear a big sigh through the muted things. And you don't have to be a rock star. One lady came to me and she said, Steve, I'd love you to be on my podcast. I don't have a big list. I don't have a big audience, but I think you would be good for my people. And I treat everybody with utmost respect when they ask me to be on their podcast. So it's okay, yep. I looked at her people and I said, yeah, I can add value. We teach you to pick the audience that you can add value to and then the host, not the host with the biggest list. She has only ever had two size, Dawn, good on you, 100 maximum view her podcast. We did an event. She was that excited. So she went from a partner and promoting an event, and she was an affiliate for the next two. And that lady with no more than 100 on her downloads generated me an additional $14,000 in 6 months. So you don't have to be stressed about the biggest and the best. You just have to be the person that adds the value to the right people. And then I'm going to teach you how to monetize it. Is that okay? You can put a dollar sign in if you think, well, okay, I can bring helping people to the table. You can bring the helping people to the table, and I can bring how you can monetize it to the table. If you're into that, that's something that we certainly can do. And Nancy is in the current program, and she said this verbally 2 weeks ago. So this is happening right now. Steve, it's all falling into place. I did my first collaboration for an event that we will use the podcast to promote. So it's the pre-chat. It's how do you put it together? And they're doing a joint promotion via the podcast to actually sell a joint program. Is that cool? Or is that cool? Okay. You might be thinking, where the hell do I find? I'm taking care of all of that for you. Those who come and join the program will get a copy of the Ultimate Directory of Podcasters, 958 of the world's leading podcasters. I've also organized 3 months free membership to the Joint Venture Directory for those who are coming. They've got over 300 podcast hosts and 1 million visits a year. So you can get on there and you can find people and they will find you. You can find speakers, you can find hosts, you do a search and you can do that. I've also organized a free listing for you on Event Raptor. They've got over 2,000 hosts and speakers and other events. So if you want to be found to speak on a summit, if you want to be found to be on podcast, or you want guests for your podcast, Event Raptor has a whole range of people. So if you are thinking, this all sounds good, Steve, but where do I get the people and where do I get the hosts? I've got it all done for you. Okay. So don't stress because I've just taken that butt away from you. Time to get your sheet out again. Let's put some dollar signs around all of this. And I've shown how some people have made some big money, some serious money, but I'm just adding the minimum. I'm not here to overpromise and say you're going to make $1 million. No. So if all you did was get on one podcast per month, might take you a few weeks to find one, to get on, to get it hosted. You did the right call chat. You did the right sequence on how you introduce people to what the next step is with them. You had a few calls. And if all you did was generate one client per month using this up here, that's an extra $12,000 a year. That's one podcast generating one client per month. Do you think that's achievable? I'm giving you low figures here. Let's say you do one activity every 3 months with a partner. And if that activity every quarter, that's going to be low for a lot of you, and you saw some people did their first one, it was 12,000. One at 5,000, that's an extra 20,000 just learning how to use podguesting to do some partnerships for them to promote you and you to work with them. It's not that hard. It's just you haven't been exposed to it. And if all this did from the host, from the audience, or from existing clients, you got one referral per month. And you could imagine that you're going to get a one referral. You're going to be out there on podcasts. People are going to be talking about you. Even when you're promoting the podcast on social media, people are going to be finding you. You will, and when I show you how to sell, you will be getting one per month, one referral. Now, you put your own numbers in, please. Put your own numbers in. So if you're a little less than 10, you could probably still use these because they're going to be good. Or if you're higher than 10, then this number is actually going to go through the roof. Now, when you look at that, it's like each of those little things are damn achievable. I could get one referral and I could have a chat with somebody. I can get on a podcast. This system has just put 80,000 in your bank for a year, even at those low numbers. And even if you're earning 5,000 a month, we've just put 40K into your bank account. So please do your numbers and write them down and look at it. It's like, well, where am I at with capacity? Where do I want to get to? And I want you to type in a big C if you can see so far that this is going to help you fill up your capacity. Type in a capital C, hit it in now. Is this system going to help fill up your capacity? Hell yeah. Okay. All right. So far. Now, this is one part that actually really excites me because it's okay to look good. It's okay to get in front of and get a lot of people. But if you can't convert them into clients, then all of this is just vanity numbers. So let's get through the sales part fairly quickly. Oh, by the way, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1, you don't, well, 1, you absolutely dread it and you avoid it with a passion. Probably 3, you don't really like it, but you do it. A 10, if you can't sleep and you wake up every day thinking, oh my God, let me at it. I want to sell. So somewhere in between the 1 to 10, where is your passion for selling, for selling yourself, for selling yourself? Perfect. Now, I know we've got some good people there. Great. Let's take wherever you are at least 2, 3, or 4. Okay. Up 2, 3, or 4 on the scales level. So the question is, what are you really selling? Type into the chat. What are you selling? What's your prime service? Because let's look at this little diagram here. Okay, online co-working, freedom, etc. You've got a few things. Keep them coming. So most people, when they talk about what they're selling the box value. I have a coaching program. You have X number of sessions with me. You have this, you have this. This is what I sell. Okay. So that's the box, and how they sell it is the box value. A lot of times people get stressed about trying to push up the value of the box. So people will see the value of the box and they'll buy the box. Okay. But what they're really wanting is the agreed implementable value. Now, those of you who've been through my blueprint conversion system on how we do a collaboration on the actual blueprint itself, you're actually collaborating on the value that you will get when we work together. Now, that value, when you're going through, and I'm going to share with you in a second, the DNQC formula, that value is significantly higher than the box value. When you get to that point and they say they couldn't possibly charge me more than this, then you've got the sale. So what are you really selling? Is it the box, the outcomes, or the actual what it really does mean to them, the agreed implementable value? And here are some people that have put together a lot of the system, but I'm going to share with you how and what they were selling. Would you agree that a financial planner or financial advisor is a brown box? There's not many around, is there? Hundreds of thousands of them. And I'm working with quite a few in United States and Canada, in Australia. Now, a financial planner, broker who is within a franchise is even more brown box. Yeah. So we looked at what he did, and this is for those who are going to come through. We're going to pull you apart and pull you back together again, the same as what we do with these people on the screen. He was originally a mortgage broker. He went into financial planning, but he also had an accounting background. So we talked about him creating the 3-dimensional financial review, and he was selling accelerated wealth creation. He could be on a trade show beside the same planners from the same company, and he would do 4 times the number of leads. Because instead of saying, hey, I'm a financial planning, I do financial planning, would you like some financial planning? He said, hey, I'm a little different to most. I'm creator of the 3-dimensional financial review. As a financial planner, I can blah, 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 blah to make sure you've got enough money to retire on. As a mortgage broker, I can actually make sure that you're not paying too much on your mortgage and reduce your payments. Also, as an accountant, I can check your structure to make sure you're not paying too much tax. When would you like your 3-dimensional financial review? Can you see why he was getting 4 to 1? Somebody that was just saying, I am a financial planner. His whole process he went through, and he boosted the buying energy. When a postcode or zip code cold lead came in, and for those who would come to join us, you actually get to do my video mastery program, and you learn how to do personal videos. You learn how to get in front of the camera and connect with people. He sent a generic personal video to everybody. Hey, Clyde here from Yellow Brick Road, St. Mary's. Great to see you come through. One of my fantastic teams is going to reach out. We're going to connect, and we're actually going to go through step-by-step your blah, 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 blah 3D review. He had 84% not just click through, not just open, but showed up physically for an appointment. Okay? Showed up. He collaborated. He had his blueprint that you saw there, and they worked through, and they worked out what the value would be. He doubled his fees. He doubled his conversion rates and doubled his referrals because of the uniqueness and the way that he was doing. Would anybody like any of those 2Xs? Just put a 2X in there. Would you like to double anything that you've got? He doubled all 3. So much so that at the end of his time, he left YBR, and now together we've created his own franchise, Your Local Money Mentor. Is that a jump out of jail into freedom? Anybody here want to jump from jail to freedom? Yeah, just type a little bit more freedom if you want more by having control over it. This is just for you guys right now. Scientifically proven the right way to be able to have a sales conversation. And I think we've got one person here who's going to see her face on the screen very, very shortly. I work with some great neuroscientists in human buying behavior. And the test that they've done, they've gone through the insights, information, questions, order, and this fits the bill perfectly. When I sent it back to them, I said, but I've added this. They said, wow, that's even better. So neuroscience, this is the most powerful sales conversation framework. Now, you use this in a sales conversation and you use it in your podguesting. I'll show you how in a sec. So first and foremost, there's a little bit of data, some information. So if you're doing a sales presentation, you'll show some information and then you'll move on. quite often what you'll see is people will give info, and data overload. And you've probably seen that on podcasting as well. They just go from one to another. And I'll break this down how you do it in a podcasting situation. So you give a nugget of information, then narrative, and a specially constructed story formula that we've got. We call them hero or horror stories. And it would be, here's the person that had generally the same problem that you have. Here's how we work with it in our system. And here are the results that they got. Okay. Have you seen one or two of those today? You have. I teach what I do. Yeah, and that's it. So you give some information, you tell the hero story, and you quantify. My pen's not spelling right. Here's the results that they got. Now, if you're having a one-on-one conversation, you say, could this work for you? Yes. If we were to do that, what would that mean? And you would financially and emotively quantify. There's both. And confirm. So, Grant, is that a priority of yours to work on right now? Gee, looks from what you've just said, Grant, this bit here is going to put an extra $10,000 per month into your bank, into your business. Is that a priority of yours right now? This is actually called the self-eliminating objection formula. When you've done it right with somebody and you've done the DNQC a couple of times and they've seen what it can do, this is the agreed implementable value. This is the value that you're going to get when we do this bit of our business together. And you've confirmed that, and they've confirmed that that's a priority of theirs. When you've done that a couple of times, the objections go out the window. When you're doing it on a podcast, and those who come to do the program with us will learn how to do this in a conversation, answering questions from the host. The host gives you a question. You then lead into that question with a little bit of information. And it could be, hey, Brendan, let me break it down just for your people. Here's somebody that I've worked with that may make it easier for them to understand. So I'm telling the story, a quantifiable story. You get to the end of it and say, cool. I'm sure your people would love those results too, wouldn't they? And as you're nodding, they're nodding and they're saying, I want those results too. So when you use this powerful formula as a conversation tool, as a podcast, getting on the podcast, working with collaboration partners, and in a sales process, your results go through the roof. So much so, I think Sasha's still here, and thank you so much for grab the rest of it, Brendan, or reach out to me. Sash is a great person that we've worked with quite a number of times. She's gone through the blueprint conversion system and said to me, Steve, the DNQC is starting to flow. It doesn't happen overnight, but when you get the flow, and she's not somebody who, is doing 3 to 4 sales a day. She's selective, a fantastic leadership coach, but has helped her. I'm closing 100%. So when she's got the right people in front of her and she's having the right conversation using the DNQC formula, they all become clients. Type in 100% if you would like a 100% close rate. Just type in 100%. That good. They're all in there. I am not promising that. Get it right now. I am not promising that. However, I will guarantee that it is significantly higher than what it is. So let's take it to the last person I'm going to share with you, the other end of the spectrum. Chris, a good buddy of mine. He was selling commercial solar finance in a super competitive market, and he was struggling. He'd been a salesman for 15 years. He said, Steve, it is tough out there. Everybody's doing financing. Everybody is basically saying, hey, I've got the best rate. I've got the best this. I've got the best rate. Nobody's different, Steve. What could we do? And I said, do my program. So he did. And instead of just selling the finance, which is what he sold and what he did, he created the Platform Energy blueprint. Platform Energy was the company he worked for, your partner in growing a successful solar company. So he didn't sell finance. We're here to help you grow. He had a blueprint, which he showed people why we are different. Selling finance, you don't have a blueprint. Okay. I would bet that most people in your industry don't have a blueprint. I bet most of you don't have a blueprint. I know a couple here do. So when you've got this to visually put in front of them, he sent this over to a client, a prospect, and I got this about 2 weeks after he finished the program. Steve, I've been a professional salesman for 15 years, but using a blueprint to sell has taken my results to a whole new level. I used it on the phone and closed a $500,000 per month deal. That's $6 million in one phone call. Now, if he'd have got on and said, hey, I can provide the lowest finance, and everybody would say, well, yeah, the other people can too. But he sold the value of working with them and partnering with them more than I can provide this. So when you take the focus off just selling what you do and the agreed implementable value, and when you use your blueprint and the system put together. Remember I said, when you drop off parts of the system, it falls down? Yeah. So that's going to be the result, that when we pull it all together, working with you, you will have the complete system. And how long do you think you'll have that system for? It's 4-letter word, life. You will know how to do it over and over again for whatever it is that you're doing. So let's get into the last calculation. And I got a couple of things here for you. Get your sheet out again, get your paper out again. You've seen people that have absolutely smashed it. 2 times closing rate is not 20%, it's 200%. Your 2 times, okay? So let's get to the bottom level. If all it did, you use the DNQC and the blueprint, it increased at 30% more. You had better energy going into a sales call because you know you weren't pushy, sleazy selling. You can now have a conversation where people at the end quite often are going to ask to buy. Wow, this looks great. How do we get started? You're more confident. When you're more confident, you've got better energy going into a conversation, you are going to make more sales just for that alone. And if all it did was the 80% that you had built up so far, just added a 30% to that, that's 24. Okay. That's just a 30% on top of what we have already built. And when you look at that, the big thing is that's 104,000. So when I said that for 5 years, I've been doing 100,000 just being a podcast guest and using podcasting to grow my business, you look at this and say, Steve, that's not that impressive after all. They're not huge numbers, but they all fit together to grow your business. Can you see that happening? Is this making sense? Cool. But I'm going to break it down one more step. I'm going to take out, and I'm just going to say, okay, you may not get on or want to do podcasts for the next whatever months. Will this work for your business without the podcasting side, the podcasting side? It might take me a bit to get that going. So let's go back to the scratch. Okay, we've just got that base rate. We've increased our positioning. That's going to help. You still get your referrals because you are going to get fantastic referrals with your positioning. And now that you know how to get better referrals, you're still going to get your referrals. And if all it did in your sales process, sell 30% better, get 30% more on what you're already doing. Nothing else. Nothing else changes. You say, okay, well, that makes sense. I could probably do that. If you take out the podcasting side of it and just do that, that alone is still 84,000. That's a big change if you put the three parts into your business. Yes or no? Were the people that I showed you today extra special, extraordinary, doing things that you couldn't possibly do? Yes or no? Were they super special, or were they just good, average people like you? No, they weren't super special. But I'm going to say, let's forget all of that. And if you think that they were potentially 4 times better than you, or you were, not quite as good as them, and you divided this by 4, if you believe that, okay, I can only get a quarter of the results that they did, and you take that out, that, as I promised, is the 20,000, next 20,000 that you could find by implementing this system. And we've divided everything. We've taken the podcasting out and we've divided everything by 4, and we are still going to give you 20K. Do you look at this system? Do you look at this worksheet that you have worked through with your numbers and say, I can do that. I can implement this, because this blueprint, when you implement all of it and you do it right, will deliver those results. So what I've given you so far is a lot of knowledge. I've given you the top 10%, the 10% above the water. However, the implementation is the 90% of the iceberg that keeps it up. That's it. You've seen this, and some of you will say, listen, I've got it. I can see it. He's given me the blueprint. You've got the knowledge. But it's this, the implementation, that is going to get it up. And some of you might say, I'm going to take this 10% of knowledge and go and do it myself. What happens when you take that 10% of the iceberg and put it back in the water? You're still going to have 10% above the water, and you're going to have 90% below. And that is not going to keep you afloat. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to share with you how the other people have worked with me to get these results, how you can possibly do it. And I'm going to give you an invitation for those who are ready, okay, right now. And I've got a real special surprise right at the end to be able to help you get started. So are you ready to see how you can, okay, we're going to take that iceberg, you're going to be sticking up, and you are going to get these results. The program that I built for this has not been put together before, okay? It is the most comprehensive program that combines all the business side of it, and it combines all the podcasting. I've even added my high-level sales program in there as well, Virtual Selling Elite, so you get it. I'm going to take it slowly because there's a lot to it. There is some online training that you could have immediate access to and get straight into it, okay? There's these courses. The Blueprint Conversion System is all about your positioning, your packaging, your blueprint, and your sales. Video Mastery. Just as a backstory, I have hosted my own network TV show. I've been an exec producer for Warner Brothers and interviewed live on network TV across 5 continents. When putting the Video Mastery together, it's all about what you need to do to be confident in front of the camera, because podcasting is now 90% filmed with videos because they're leveraging YouTube. You need to be able to have that dynamic, that empathetic, to be able to connect and engage with the host and the audience through the lens. And that's why I'm including Video Mastery. Podguest Profits is going to show you how you can turn your guesting into profits, and virtual selling is how you can take those leads and turn them into good quality clients. And then there is the group mentoring. We'll get into that in a minute. So that's the framework, the system of how all this works. I'm not going to go through line by line, but the blueprint conversion system is going to be everything that you saw on how these people put themselves together to stand out, to break out of the brown box, to create the language around connecting with the people, to design your blueprint that is going to really help you stand out and convert more and have stress-free enrollments. As a quick question, type in F or S, fast or slow. How many of you like fast results? Put in an F. How many of you like slow results? Put in an S. F. Okay, we've got a few Fs coming through. Okay. This is a video of somebody, but I'm not going to play the video. I'm very conscious of your time. Ryan started one of my programs and just like you, got access to the training before the live mentoring started. His words. I can play the video. Steve, I devoured the Blueprint Conversion System online course over the weekend, got clarity, reworked my position, and created a blueprint. He did the trifecta. I used it all on the Monday, which therefore he used the sales training in there, and signed a $15,000 client, hashtag best investment ever. Thanks, Ryan. He did that all before any of the group mentoring started. So you're going to get access to all of that. And then I'm going to take you through and mentor you through it and help you with any of the questions and the positioning that you may have. So that's Ryan. So for those of you who like fast results, is 2 days quick enough? Okay, I've got a couple of nods. So I can see some heads and some writing. The Podguest Profits training, again, it's what you need to stand out and get on more podcasts, to have that pre-chat conversation that explodes into great quality podcasts, great quality collaborations to really build your business, as well as you have the resources to find and get on the right places, how to build the relationships, how to excite the audience to run to you so that you don't have to get on your knees and put your hands skyward and pray that they're going to connect with you, how you can excite them and run them through. You've got all the resources. So that's what's in the Podguest Profits training and resources. You remember, you get all the resources to find and to be a guest and to find guests if you're a host. This works for both. Video mastery, and I put this in because you need it. When you can connect through the lens and you are those engaging people, then the audience is going to love you and refer you. They want to work with you. The host is say, I had Neville on and he was just so engaging with my people. And you learn to do this through the video mastery program. It's all in there for you. So for those who want to know the monetary value, apart from the money that I've already shown you that we're going to put on your pocket, the Blueprint Conversion System is normally roughly a $2,000 program. Podguest Profits is just under $1,500. The video mastery scripting was a 10-day program, but I've got the videos, got the training and everything for you. That's $1,497 as well. The initial 8 weeks of personalized mentoring, this is where the magic happens. This is where I work with you, hold your hand, but also come up with unique work. It's like paying me to be your personal coach. You get the virtual selling elite, which is part of my high-level one-on-one program, and you get the private group support. That all totals up to around about $9,000, which even if you were to pay retail and you divided the other one by 4 and you were only going to get $20,000 back, it's still not a bad bet. But when you look at it, what are you really getting? It's not a box full of stuff. You're getting the knowledge, and you're going to get a lot of that. You're getting skills for life. 8 weeks plus You're going to change the way that you do things. You're going to change the skills. You're going to change the confidence. You're going to change the clarity. You're going to change you. You're going to get accountability, butt kicking, and you're going to get mentoring. I will be working with you. And because it's a business program, nothing's off limits. You can bring parts of your business to the group mentoring sessions and we can go through them. But most of all, you're going to get clarity. Clarity will actually deliver you confidence. When you are confidently talking about who you are, what you do, why you are different, then people are really going to gravitate towards you. Consistency. How many here would like consistent client flow? My latest book that's going to be published very shortly is Flow Selling, how to enhance and accelerate client flow. And those who come, you're actually going to get a copy of that as well. We're going to put that into the training and control. Finally, you can actually have control of how many people are coming to work with you, the type of people are coming to work with you, and quite often when they are coming to work with you. Is control something that you would like in your business instead of waiting and thinking, I'm going to pick up whatever comes through? No. Okay. The personalized group mentoring is, as I said, it's where the magic happens. They're weekly sessions, roughly 60 to 90 minutes. They are all recorded. So if you miss them, they're all going to be there for you. You have your private Facebook group for support. There are people already in there that are just finishing off the last part of this program. You get advanced training. So you are doing the online work. I don't have to cover the basics. You get advanced training when we get into the groups. Q&A and hot seating. We total them up. I don't know how many six-figure businesses we've created in the hot seats, but I know to date we have created seven-figure businesses just out of the hot seats. So if you want to come along and bring some good ideas, we could probably help you. So the mentoring, you get immediate access to the online training. Each of the four courses, you get immediate access to. Group mentoring will be this time tomorrow, not starting tomorrow, but this time Fridays, 9 a.m. Sydney, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. ET. So clear your schedule, make sure you've got that available. The new Podguest business starts late February. So the group's open. We're all going to be in the group. You can have questions and answers in the group. It's time for you, without distractions, to go in and have a look at the modules, have a look at doing some of the stuff that Ryan did and started selling already. You can start working through that now, and we start again in late July. So the thing you need to remember, I'm not selling a program. I'm not inviting you to a program. I'm inviting you to implement whatever you had on your sheet, whatever that number is, whether it's 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, whether you think, Steve, I'm going to blow your 100,000 out of the water. Whatever it is, I'm inviting you to allow me to partner with you to achieve that number. Does that make sense? Because it's not just a course, it's me partnering with you to achieve whatever number you had there. That's what we're working on. You can bring that to the table and say, look, here's how we're going to do it. But the quick question is, does this make sense? Does the worksheet add up for you? And can this make a difference in your business? Got some yeses coming through. So I got a real nice surprise for you guys. And as you saw, this whole program, if I was to sell it retail, and by the way, because I do work internationally, these numbers are USD. However, for those of you in America, in Australia, we have this weird thing called end of financial year. And everybody's supposed to do super discounts and do all sorts of crazy things. So because it is end of financial year, what we've got here are Australian dollars. And what you get is this whole program for me to partner with you to be able to build that number at just 1997 Australian dollars. For those of you who are in America, it's roughly 1333. If you want to break it up, and the good thing is, Aussies, if you invest the full amount right now, in a couple of weeks' time, it's tax deductible. So you can divide that again by 3, okay, depending on what your tax rate is. So if you are an Aussie and you want to get the maximum tax deduction, you can, of course, invest the whole amount right now. You can claim it in a couple of weeks' time and start getting that back. Or if you want to look at your cash flow, you actually have 4 payments of 555. Now the question, where can you get a program like this that's going to dramatically change your business, your confidence, your positioning, change you for $500? And for those who are in US, I think that works out at about 333. So if US, 333, get started. Hunter is actually going to drop into the chat. That he's already done it. Thank you, Hunter. I have to start calling him Radar. You remember MASH? Thanks, buddy. I said I couldn't run these things without you. However, I'm a former national professional track champion. I like doing things fast and I like rewarding people who do things fast. What if I took that 8 weeks up to 12 months? Those of you who join us in the next 48 hours, you get the gold mentoring pass. That means you can have complete access to all of the live group training, the online training, and updates over the next 12 months. A lot of the people that work with me call this the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you don't have to leave. So let's turn this thing around now. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm not a course creator. I'm not a course seller. I'm somebody who really wants to partner with you to deliver you results. One of the ladies that is in her second time around doing Podguest Profits, she said, Steve, thank you for allowing us to come back for the repeat sessions. I'm getting so much value second time around. I get to work on different things, Dominique. And the reason I do this is put a big O in there right now. If you have got a little bit of overwhelm of everything that I've thrown at you today, has there been a lot of information thrown at you? When we go through the training, I'm allowing you the time to go through the online training and digest it. And then we're going to do the layering on top of the advanced training and mentoring. Now, you might be working on some of the basics to start with. Second time round, it may be a little bit more on some of the other things, okay? So those of you who register now and in the next 48 hours, you will get the 12-month Gold Pass. Now, even though we're fairly early into it, there might be some of you sitting on the fence and say, well, is it for me? Should I do it or should I not? And normally, and we're going to have some Q&A, and I'm going to answer all of your questions before you go. We're going to have some Q&A, and you may ask, is this for me? I'm only doing this. I'm only starting out. What can I do? I'm going to answer that first question. I'm only starting out. I'm not really sure. This is the perfect time. It's better to build something under guidance and do it the right way than wait till you build it. And there's a fair chance you might have to pull some of it down and rebuild it. So if you've got some ideas and you want to go off in a different direction and you want to expand in a certain way, the time to do it is now, because 90% of the comments I get back in the first few weeks is that word clarity. Who you are, what you do. So if you're sitting on the fence thinking, should I do it? Am I ready for this? Is a question that if you want the results that you wrote on that sheet of paper, just go back to this. That's what we're going to implement. We're going to implement that sheet, and we're going to do it in a way that's going to be enjoyable, but also fairly fast. Let me share with you a lady, and she was one of the ones that was earlier. Steve, I've been doing your free sessions for 3 years and didn't really implement anything. After my first week with my new positioning, I signed up 3 brand new clients immediately. I'm kicking myself that I waited. Thanks for the kick in the bum. Now, in the first week, she changed her positioning, added 50% to her fees, and she added another client. 2 clients. So there was 3 the first week, 2 the second week at 50% higher. And we calculated, just a point of difference, that if she had done the program 3 years ago and all she ever did was add those 5 clients, she had wasted $140,000 just on those clients by not acting when she first saw it. Now, the last thing I want to do is actually have one of these masterclasses, see some of you back again, and you're still doing the same thing. And you're missing out on the money and the change of life and the positioning and the stress that you could have been. So I've got 3 pretty powerful questions. And they're fairly personal about me, and they're fairly personal about you. But if it's okay, let's uncover what may be stopping you right now. The first is, do you believe this works? And I've got a good question over there, Angela. Do you believe this works? From what you've seen logically, and from what you've seen other people do you believe that this works? And if it doesn't work, how different are you to any of those other people, and why won't it work for you? The next question, do you believe I can help? Am I the right person to do it? Do you believe that I've helped those other people? This formula will work. And I guess if you're still here at just on the 90 minutes, actually 91 minutes, you can hang around with me long enough. And am I a person you want to hang around with a little bit more? Do you believe I can help you? The last question is the most important one, and only you can answer this for you. Do you believe in you? Do you believe enough in what you do and that you can step up and want to step up and help more people and make a bigger impact? Do you believe in you? If you are already getting results for people and want to magnify that, this will do it. If you've answered yes to these 3, from what you've seen so far, do you believe it works? Do you believe that I'm the person that can help you? But most importantly, do you believe enough in you to invest in you? And if the answer is no to that, then that's fine. But that's what we need to help you get started. If you believe in you, I believe in you, because there has not been a person that we work with that can really not benefit from this. So the final thing, I'll answer this question. Your 2 main options. You know now that this is a 12-month program. 12 months, you get to work with me. What would it be like to have me in your back pocket for 12 months? To go through the training, we do it intense in 8 weeks. Then there's a short break, and then we do it intense again for another 8 weeks, and then we do it again. So you can come back to any and all of the group training. Okay. Angela just wrote, how many's in the group training? Generally speaking, no more than 20 to 30. Okay. So, and at times we'll be splitting. There'll be some people that'll be going through the business side, and there'll be some people going through the podcasting side. And you can choose to do either or both once we get the whole program rolling. 20 to 30 people max means I can work with most of you because it's not teaching, it's working with you. It's hands-on. If we get to 90 minutes and we need to do more, I don't book anything after the training. We make sure that you get what you need out of every session. Okay. LJ, that's a bit technical. You're in the Friday group, which is the business. We do business part of it on Fridays, and we'll be doing the podcasting on Wednesdays. So that will keep the numbers down, and you can do specific whatever training it is that you need at the time, but we'll be going through the 8-week program, and then you can go back and do whatever elective type thing that you want to after that. So Hunter, if you could just drop those links back in again. I've been tossing this around. And I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning. It's not on slides. It's not anywhere. And I've done this once before. And Hunter's going to say, "You bastard, Dad. I've got to do all the editing for this." So if suddenly we go black, it's because he's objecting to what I'm about to tell you or offer you. For those handful of you who want to get started straight away and are going to register while we are on the call Q&A, I'm offering it because I really enjoy it and we get great results. At somewhere when it's appropriate for you, we will have a full one hour one-on-one where I will review your positioning, personally review your positioning, packaging, your blueprint, look at how you're selling from it, look at your podcasting strategy, how you get on calls. But during that call, I will personally interview you as a sizzle reel for you to get on podcasts. You could use it as your sizzle reel. I will obviously craft the right questions. You will have been coached through the right answers on how to deliver them. And Hunter will edit it up, look pretty funky, and it will go into your pack as a sizzle reel for what it is. I have the brand, the Entrepreneur's Locker Room, and you will be interviewed as a guest. It's a 12-minute sizzle interview, and you will be able to use it as your as a part of getting on and promoting yourself. So sorry, Hunter, I've just got some more work for you, buddy. So if you're registering today, while we're on the call, there's probably going to be just a handful of you. We're going to see you come through. We're going to tag you, and we'll organize that call when you are ready. It might be after the first time through. It might be a little bit after that, but you will be tagged as somebody that I am going to do that one call with you and give you that one weapon for you to use. And having helped put you together as a part of our course, there's probably not going to be anybody any better to interview you, to drag out of you the energy and the answers to get you on more podcasts. Give me a thumbs up, give me a hell yeah, whatever in the chat, if that would be of value to you guys, because I woke up last night and thought, you know what? I looked at the people coming through and I thought this was going to be a great group. I thought I would offer it anyway. So here we go.